Have you ever set a goal for your business that felt like shooting for the moon, only to find it crashing back down to earth? I'm Carl Pierre, and at Passive Workforce, we believe in harnessing the power of precise, actionable goals to elevate your business. It's not about lofty dreams, it's about concrete steps. We teach entrepreneurs how to start, grow, and even sell their businesses by aiming for the stars with their feet firmly on the ground. Stick around and let's unlock strategies that will set your business apart. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for insights that will turn your entrepreneurial gears and goals into a well-oiled machine that prints you money. Let's talk about SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. It's like giving your business a roadmap to success. Setting goals without these 5 pillars is like navigating without a map or GPS. You might move around a lot, but are you headed in the right direction? With SMART goals, every step is calculated, every milestone a checkpoint. It's not just about what you want to achieve, it's about carving out the path to get to that point with precision. Let me explain to you what I mean. So I consult a lot of people, and when I'm talking to entrepreneurs who are just getting started, or even people who have successful businesses, maybe doing 6 or 7 figures in revenue, they have a hard time setting goals in a way that are clear. I'll meet with them and they'll tell me things like, oh, I want to have a huge year, I want to be successful, I want this to be my best year ever. And they don't give it enough details to even make it something that they could shoot for. That's why I gave that analogy of like kind of going on a journey or on a trip without a clear guide or without a clear map, because you might find yourself motivated and excited to go out there and do something, but you might find yourself just walking through the wilderness lost and getting gobbled up by a wolf or something. So when you're setting goals for your company, you need to use SMART format to help really zero in on what that goal is. I'll give you an example of what my goal is for 2024. So in my company, AidBook, we're looking to grow our revenue to $30 million by the end of the year through doing strategic acquisitions, which is buying other home care agencies, and also licensing out our software on time to other people within the space, whether it's adult daycare, medical staffing, or home health care. We feel that between acquiring more agencies and going out there and selling our products and services to more companies, we should hit that goal. As you see, it's specific in what we are aiming to do. It's measurable in that the goal is $30 million in annual revenue, and it's achievable, and there's action items for us to get there. How is that going to be achieved? It's going to be achieved through boosting our marketing efforts and having a sales team on the ground selling our software, and by strategic acquisitions or buying companies that have the size that we're looking for that's gonna let us get there quicker. For me, I'm only looking to buy companies that are doing at least $5 million in revenue, so that way I don't have to buy as many to get to 30. Realistically, it's gonna be about 2 to 3 acquisitions that will get me there. And if you remember, I said this is my goal by the end of the year. By December 2024, I should have all these companies purchased, my marketing team in place, and have total revenue going forward of about $30 million. So I gave it a time parameter as to how am I going to get there. And by being that specific, it helps me zero in on what I need to do to get to 30 million. I can't realistically get to $30 million in revenue through a general grassroots strategy. It's just going to be too slow. If you set that number, you're going to start working backwards to get to that goal and say, well, exactly how am I going to get to $30 million in revenue if my organic channels only produce an additional 100 grand per month? Even if I have a good year, I'm only going to grow by $1.2 million. That's not going to get me there. Then you start to think, well, what is going to get me there? And you start looking for strategies that will. Maybe it's boosting your marketing team. Maybe it's boosting your ad spend. Maybe it's having to take out a loan and invest in this other thing that you know is going to propel your business. Maybe you're taking out loans to buy other companies to help you get there faster. So by being specific and using SMART goals, it gives you enough to think about to start structuring out the sub steps that you need to take to achieve the overall goal. While you're watching this, why don't you use the comment section below to try to formulate a SMART goal? That way I can review what you're thinking, how you're structuring it, and give you pointers on how you can improve that goal so that you have something to go forward with. Once your goals are crystal clear, how do you turn them into a language that your team understands? It's simple: clarity and tools. Project management tools are your best ally when you're kind of going about this, transforming your vision into tasks everyone on your team can see and follow. Effective meetings aren't just gatherings, they're a launch pad for collective action. Communicate your goals and watch your team's productivity soar as they align with your vision, as they align with that SMART goal. So in my companies, whether it's my home care companies, my medical staffing companies, my content team, we work using the platform Asana. It's a project management platform. Those of you who are familiar with Asana or Monday, there's a bunch of them out there. I like to use Asana. Asana is the platform that Google recommends, and they have Google certification in project management, and they use Asana in that. So for me, I like the Asana presentation. It's easy to work with. And since implementing that tool into my companies, it's really helped me as a leader to kind of get all my ideas down in one place and be able to assign tasks out to my team. And what's cool about Asana is that you could assign collaborators on your platform. Who's responsible for what? Maybe one person's responsible for marketing, while another person's responsible for sales, and another person's responsible for the analytics and the reporting on the progression of this goal of yours. So if you have your SMART goal set, and you've determined the recipe or the proposed roadmap to achieve that goal, you can start breaking it down into those subtasks and assigning it to yourself and members of your team. For me, it's been a game changer because I'm able to get all my ideas down in one place. And there's a lot cooking up here. So usually what I would find is that I would just do this huge dump of information on my team. I'd be excited, and there wasn't enough details for them to follow. When you look at companies that really scale, they've broken down all their processes and all of their goals into digestible parts that all of their employees can follow and understand. So whether it's putting together that Big Mac, right? 3 buns, 2 patties, lettuce, secret sauce, whatever, they broke it down so that even a person who doesn't speak the language can look at a picture, look at the ingredients, and make it based on those things, right? Without even knowing the language. That's how well oiled the machine is at McDonald's. So you have to be able to take that SMART goal and digest it into little pieces, little tasks that will ultimately build the outcome that you're looking for. Aside from Asana, I really like Loom because I'm a video guy. I like video content. I like to explain myself. I like to demonstrate tone. As you can see, this is something that I enjoy doing. So when I'm trying to explain things, sometimes typing up an email or a written description isn't best for me. Sometimes I need to explain it. So with Loom, I'm able to pull up my Asana, pull up the task, hit record on my screen, and explain to my team or to the person that I'm collaborating with for that task what I actually mean by this. How do I want this capture page to be designed? I'll pull up a picture or even a drawing and say, hey, I want my website that's receiving information from this advertisement to look like this. Title over here, video, capture form, and call to action at the bottom. When they click this button, I want it to do this, this, and this. And I explain all of that. And I'll type it up in an email too. But at least that way, if I have visual learners, they're able to watch the video and get it. If I have people who need that auditory input, they're able to get it too. And for those who like to read, my description might be helpful. So by putting that video and that description into my Asana and assigning it, I've given my team what they need to execute on that specific task. And remember, that's just one of the steps to achieving the goal. Now, you're gonna have to have periodic meetings. And early on in my entrepreneurial career, I would have these meetings that were more like brainstorming sessions. I get everybody together, I rant, I dump all my ideas, I'm excited. And somehow I expected all those people in the meeting to just know what their respective role was. And they're employees in your company. They're not the ones who are organizing the company, right? They're not the ones who are really driving the future and the goals. They're the ones who are executing the goals. So they tend to need more direction than anything. And those meetings I thought were effective. And it turns out that it confused my staff more than anything. So what I realized is that by first taking my goal, breaking it down into subtasks, giving really detailed explanations as to what do I mean by these subtasks, and having meetings where I allow my staff to ask me questions, give me feedback as to whether or not the task that I assigned is realistic, Sometimes I may think, hey, this thing should only take 2 hours. Meanwhile, it's a 2-week assignment and I have to account for that. Or I might have allocated $1,000 in the budget to execute this thing, whether it's, let's say it's an application development or a single web page or something like that. And it turns out that it's far more complex than that. It's an opportunity for my team to give me feedback about the goals that I set and the tasks that I set so that I can make the necessary adjustments. It also is an opportunity for me to review what they've done to date and then propose solutions or adjustments, or even kind of commend them for the positive work that they've done. Meetings are supposed to be clear in what you're trying to achieve in that meeting, whether it's updates, opportunities to provide leadership with feedback, make sure that items are being cleared and meeting the timeline that has been set. And then ultimately, it doesn't matter what your project is, how well thought out it is, you're gonna run into roadblocks. There's gonna be things that come up that you didn't account for, that you didn't expect. And it's gonna take you and your team to hash through it, come up with some solutions and move on. I don't care if it's medical staffing, I don't care if it's construction, I don't care if it's software development. It's always gonna happen. There's always gonna be some sort of hiccup that needs to be readjusted. So your meetings really need to focus in not on the brainstorming, or if it is a brainstorming session, you need to make sure that that brainstorming session is labeled as such so that people come in there proposing ideas, proposing solutions, ways to solve certain aspects of the project, or it's an update, or it's new task being assigned, etc. So using these tools, Asana, Loom, and Effective Meetings are going to help you track your project, track your goal, put everybody in alignment with that so that you're able to really see your progress and see where you're dropping the ball. Evaluating progress is the pulse check of your goals, honestly, and you should do that in those meetings. Are they thriving, or do they need a lifeline of some sort? Regular evaluations will keep you in the loop, not just at the end, but every critical point in the process of hitting your goals. It's about adapting, adjusting, and steering back on course. This isn't a set it and forget it sort of mission. It's a continuous pursuit of hitting your goals or even exceeding the targeted goals that you've set. Your regular meetings are going to be kind of checks against those goals, but you should have a broader evaluation tool that allows you to measure the effectiveness of your staff against a goal. So in my companies, we set annual goals. And for example, the one I just gave you, we're looking to do $30 million of acquisitions. We're looking to get to a certain point. And once I break that down into a project and I've assigned that these are the teams, these are the leaders, these are the people who have some sort of touch point to this ultimate goal. Each position within the company, their evaluations are going to be on how well they execute the goals that we have set for the company. So let's just say that we have a goal of $30 million in revenue. And part of the strategy to get there is to boost our organic private pay audience. And we want to get our private pay audience to $5 million, up from $3 million in revenue to $5 million in revenue. And we plan on doing so by kind of boosting ads in certain areas. Let's just say that was the sub goal. The marketing team is going to be responsible for the ads, for the intake, for the communication with our potential leads, the re-engagement of those leads, etc. So everybody on the marketing team, regardless of what their position, it could be the director, it could be a on the ground kind of face-to-face marketer, it could be the intake people who are following the referrals and pushing them through. It could be any of those people. Their goals are going to be set on their evaluations, and they're going to be measured against whether or not they're hitting those goals. So if for the first half of the year, we're supposed to get from 3 million to 4 million in trailing revenue, what are they going to do? How did they do? And are they actually implementing the things that as a company we've decided we believe will get them there? Okay. So if they were responsible to spend $30,000 in ads on Facebook, I'm going to look to see, did they spend the $30,000 in ads? Have they completed the reports that gave us a fair assessment as to whether or not this is working? And Are they following up with leads in the appropriate amount of time? Let's just say that we set a standard that every inbound lead for home care services must be responded to within 16 hours. That's the cap, okay? We're going to see whether or not that intake person who's responsible for making the outreach and the follow-up and the contact with any lead that came in, any referral that came in, is the average time 16 hours or less. And how are we going to do that? We're going to see what time the lead came in versus what time the first outreach was recorded and noted. And if we see that that timing is too long, then we can evaluate that person on that and say, hey, we've established this standard of 16 hours. And for whatever reason, your average turnaround time is 30 hours, Monday through Friday. Unacceptable. That's how we're going to evaluate them as doing a good job or a bad job. Because even if they execute on what was decided, sometimes you're not going to hit the goal. And if they're doing everything that was prescribed in the project and the goals aren't being hit, then there's something wrong with the design of the project. It's typically either the executors are not doing what was said, or the plan itself was faulty. And then you have an opportunity to get feedback again from the worker to say, hey, we're spending this money, but these ads aren't converting. We feel that Facebook is not the place to get these private leads. In fact, we split our spend of $30,000 between Facebook and Google, and the lead quality from Google is better, even though it's costing us $25 for a lead versus $6 on Facebook. The conversion on the Google leads is 15%, and on the Facebook ones, it's only 1%. I think we should shift more dollars to Google. And that's the feedback that you need as a person who's setting the standard for the company, who's setting the goal, to say, you know what, you're right. Let's adjust the evaluation tool so that we are measuring the success against the performance on Google. Let's reallocate the Facebook spend to the Google spend, and let's see what happens over the next 3 months. So when we evaluate you again, we can determine whether or not, one, you're following the steps that we prescribed, and two, what are the outcomes? Are we meeting the goal? Are we exceeding the goal? Or are we on target? You're going to need to create an evaluation tool. In our companies, we have spreadsheets that we use that we can share with you if you're our client. So if that's something that you think your company needs help with SMART goals or kind of creating these evaluation tools, just reach out to us and we should be able to get you going on the right path. And ultimately, at the end of the year, when it's time to do your year-end evaluations, you've removed all of the subjectivity from whether an employee is good or bad. Sometimes we have our favorites because of personality, because how they make us feel at work, how they make the others feel, but that favorite may not be a top performer. So you want to have an evaluation tool that eliminates that subjectivity, which may have people on your team that are ineffective or clouding your judgment. These objective evaluation tools will allow you to say, hey, this person's awesome. This person needs improvement. This person actually exceeded the goal and expectations. They should get a bonus or raise, a promotion, etc. It allows you to make those objective observations and those objective decisions. So if you're ready to shape goals that not only stand tall, but deliver, our consultants at Passive Workforce are the architects of business success. Book a call with us and let's craft your blueprint to achievement. There's really a world of opportunity waiting for you, and we're here to help you grab a piece of that. Let's talk and turn your goals into reality.